Continuing education knows that at the end, students want to graduate, and we can help them do that because we take the time to really listen to their needs, and we understand all the different options that are available across the campus for them.
We don't take a cookie cutter approach. We realize each student comes with their own story. So whether it's a part-time student looking to complete a degree program or someone just looking for online courses, we're there to connect them to the resources of the university.
Thank you, Moses. I was going to do a request, Girl from Ipanema. Do you have that one? No? Okay. Hey, welcome to the last session of the day here in, what is this, room 4, room 1, whatever? Room 1, yes, the best room. I'm Stan Hickory, Director of the Innovation Entrepreneurship Initiative here at CU Boulder, and thank you for coming. We have a great event for you. It's a twofold event. The first part is our finalists for the New Venture Challenge are going to be pitching to you, and you guys are going to be able to not only give feedback, but you're going to decide who gets a $500 Audience Choice Award. But let me give you a little understanding of what the New Venture Challenge is. The entrepreneurial ecosystem, say that word 5 times fast, entrepreneurial. See, I say it all the time, so I can do it. The entrepreneurial ecosystem here at CU Boulder is ridiculous. 2 years ago, we had 35 spinouts. That's second most of any university ever, more than MIT, Harvard, absolutely, right? So we have a really robust format for taking ideas and then launching them out into the world and having impact. And one of the mechanisms for that is our New Venture Challenge. So that's our entrepreneurial competition that we have every year, open to student, faculty, staff, and some community members. And it culminates in the finals at the Boulder Theater, which is next Wednesday on the 22nd. So if you haven't already registered, make sure you go do that. We had 139 ventures compete this year, and they will be pitching at the Boulder Theater for their share of $336,000. Now that number might be a surprise to some of you guys. We found some more money to throw at you. All right, so $336,000 to help these companies go and launch and have impact on the world from CU Boulder, right? So it's a really unique opportunity for students, faculty, and staff at the university. But before we go there, I have one question, all right? This is gonna date some people. All right, who knows what movie this is referencing? Oh, first hand was up here. Say anything, you win. Look at this, you win a scarf. Yes, right on, right on. All right, so the format here, we're gonna have a team pitch, and you have a QR code, so there we go, there's the first one. Kyoga is gonna be the first one. So they're gonna pitch, you can use your phone, get that QR code going, and you're going to have a Google form come up, and that's where you're going to provide the feedback. So listen to that pitch, provide that feedback, and the feedback's super easy. It's just, you know, a rating on a couple questions, and then there's a spot for you to actually put some feedback in. And these teams are going to get that feedback tonight so that they can start reworking their decks so that they're ready to pitch at the Boulder Theater. So this is really, really important. And then at the end of all the pitches, we'll have another QR code, and that's where you do the Audience Choice Award. So which of these 6 teams is going to get $500 based on your feedback? And then, and this is the really cool part, then we have the premiere of our New Venture Challenge documentary. So Laura Keat Creative worked with us all last year. They went to every single event, and they filmed the people that were part of the New Venture Challenge. And they spent a long time building a documentary about the whole New Venture process. So you actually get to experience what those teams experienced last year. So without further ado, I'm going to give another pair of socks to you. There we go. Without further ado, we're going to Kyoga. Round of applause. Awesome.
Can you hear me in the back? Yeah, there we go. Got someone way back there. All right. So hi, everyone. I'm Justin Whiteley, CEO and co-founder of Kyoga. We are a B2B company commercializing a new category of dietary ingredient, one that's focused on restoring the biology we've lost in modern life. Now, 1 in 5 US adults currently suffer from anxiety, depression, and burnout, and this is fueling a multi-billion-dollar industry of stress, mood, and cognitive health products across supplements, food, and beverage. But the ingredients used in these products today have limited effectiveness. They address downstream symptoms. None of them address the biological root cause of why stress goes chronic in the first place. And that mechanism is actually tied to the immune system, not this cortisol story we hear so much about. The culprit is the brain's own immune cells, called microglial cells, shifting into an overreactive primed state that keeps the threat response turned on long after a stressor is gone. Now, to understand why this is happening, it requires a deeper understanding on how our immune systems developed. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans co-evolved alongside beneficial environmental microbes, those found in soil, in our foods, in our daily exposure to nature. These type of microbes helped calibrate our immune systems to maintain a state of balance. However, modern life and industrialization has largely eliminated these exposures. And the result today is our immune systems tend to be far more overreactive, hypersensitive, actually interpreting everyday stress as danger. This is what scientists call the old friends hypothesis, and this is what Kyoga is built upon. We are launching to the market our lead ingredient, NeuroAlly. This is the world's first old friends ingredient. This is technically what's considered a postbiotic. It's made from non-living bacterial components. Compare this to, say, a probiotic, which we're all familiar with, which is living bacteria. And that's important because what we're really after is the unique chemistry inside these bacterial cells. They act as biological signals in our body. It works in 3 ways. For one, it reprograms our immune system back into that state of balance at a cellular level. It helps shift those overreactive brain immune cells back into a calm neuroprotective state, and it acutely activates serotonin in the parts of the brain that govern mood and stress. This is a novel mechanism to the industry, first of its kind. But what makes this a really attractive commercial ingredient is that it actually works at a clinically validated 1 milligram daily dose. It's heat stable through common manufacturing processes. It's flavorless. And it's on track for US launch this summer. We've completed a variety of preclinical in vivo behavioral models for NeuroAlly, demonstrating its ability to enhance stress resilience, improve sleep quality, notably REM sleep, enhance cognition and learning, and provide a neuroprotective benefit through paradigms of aging. But we didn't stop at preclinical because honestly, lots of compounds work in animals, but rubber meets the road when you put this into humans. We completed the world's first human clinical study of NeuroAlly, a 60-person randomized placebo-controlled trial, participants taking that ultra-low dose for 8 weeks. And while the results are still technically under NDA, as this, we're publishing some patents on this, I can say that this was one of the first dietary ingredients ever to actually move hsCRP, our body's core inflammatory marker, in healthy participants, while coupling this with fast onsets and reduction in perceived stress. Now, comparing this to the other clinically used ingredients in the stress management category today, each multi-billion-dollar ingredient markets of their own. NeuroAlly works at the smallest clinical dose with the fastest time to effect and is the only ingredient that actually helps your brain respond to stress. From a commercial standpoint, we're taking a B2B approach where we sell NeuroAlly directly to brands across supplements, food and beverage in the markets of stress, sleep, mood, healthy aging, and cardiometabolic. It's about a $25 billion market. We lined up a variety of launch partners from fast-moving e-commerce brands up to the largest food company in the world. The logos are intentionally blurred as these are active yet proprietary collaborations. In order to service them, we have already scaled the manufacturing of NeuroAlly with contract manufacturing partners, demonstrating 93% manufacturing gross margins, exceptionally high gross margins in this industry, really driven by that ultra-low dose. We have completed all relevant safety studies to launch here in the US market through the generally regarded as safe process here over the summer. And importantly, NeuraAlly is the first asset out of our broader Ofra strain library where we'll be launching new ingredients over the upcoming years. We put together a team of scientific depth and operational expertise this type of business required. I'm the former CTO and co-founder of Meaty Foods, where I took university IP from the lab, scaled it up to the factory while raising over $400 million. Our co-founding professor, Chris Lowry, is a top 1% cited scientist in the world in the field of microbiome and depression. And our business team of Brian and Greg bring together a collective 60 years experience B2B dietary sales. We do have an exclusive license with the University of Colorado Boulder for 2 worldwide patents on NeuraAlly and the broader platform. We will be raising a seed round later this year, but if you're interested in learning more, please come talk to me after. Thank you.
All right. Hello, hey. Go ahead and submit that feedback for him. I can't wait for this to come out. I have 3 teenage daughters. Talk about stress, right? How's that for a joke, Chris? Huh? Yeah? Making sure you're awake. All right. So, got more giveaway here. I'm old, so 80s movies are big for me. So, the little kid in Jerry Maguire said the human brain weighed how much? It was 8, yeah. She had it right. She's up first. Yeah, you win. Yeah, you're gonna look good in that beanie. All right. So, Ptarmigan is our next presenter. So go ahead and download that form. And we'll go ahead and invite up Ptarmigan. Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are Ptarmigan Clockworks, and we enable 6G through our scalable precision clocks. Today, telecom industry giants Nokia, Ericsson, and Huawei are investing over $60 billion annually into the next generation of telecom, the 6G network, which they bet will generate over $1 trillion in revenue. But there's a missing piece, and without it, the 6G network could become the most expensive miss in telecom history. Now, that critical component is the precision clock. Today, as we walk around, our cell phone can connect to 1 cell tower at a time, synced up using clock technology dating all the way back to the 1980s. But when 6G rolls out in 2030, our phones will simultaneously connect to multiple towers at once, unlocking that $1 trillion revenue potential. However, this level of synchronization is only possible using a new generation of precision clocks. Now, the 6G network will require over 500,000 of these clocks, each 10 times more precise than any clock made for 5G. Meaning that existing suppliers don't have the technology, and the few companies that do can only produce around 10 units a year at $500,000 each. The reality is that the existing technology does not scale to the 6G required levels. So that's where we come in. Here at Ptarmigan, our patent-pending technology has allowed us to develop a new class of mass manufacturable precision clocks capable of unlocking 6G. Our solution is backed by 5 years and $2 million of NIST and NSF-supported research and allows us to turn this lab clock into that 6G compatible format, the Ptarmigan clock, which fits seamlessly into a 6G server rack. Now, through the NSF I-Core, Venture Starting Blocks, and Intuitive Foundation programs, we conducted over 80 customer discovery interviews with experts in the quantum and telecom space, who all said the same thing, that they urgently need a precision clock solution. Now, through these interviews, we gathered letters of support from industry-leading manufacturers, our beachhead market, and just recently Microchip, the world's largest manufacturer of atomic clocks for 5G, who we are in NDA discussions with as a potential manufacturing partner for our 6G solution. Now, Hamamatsu, the global leader in photonics manufacturing, has also agreed to utilize their own resources to develop a key component, the atomic core of our clock, with a prototype set to arrive later this year. And we're finalizing a letter of intent with Deutsche Telekom, T-Mobile's parent company, who look to lease our clock solution for their Berlin test network. Now, our timeline is set to match that of the 2030 6G rollout, meaning that this year and next we will build and deploy a prototype for the Boulder Quantum ecosystem, where we already have our first customer, Mesa Quantum, who has signed a letter of intent to purchase our beta for their product development line. Now, the Boulder Quantum ecosystem is the perfect beachhead market because it provides us with paying customers and real-world field data to ensure that we have a market-ready product come 2030. Now, this sets the stage for Ptarmigan to be the first mover in the 6G clock market, meaning that by 2030, we will be mass manufacturing precision clocks alongside an industry-leading manufacturer through a licensing agreement and selling the clock hardware to 6G system integrators like Nokia and Ericsson. So by 2030, we will have sold our first 1,000 units, generating over $100 million in revenue. And following the 6G demand curve, this number will skyrocket to over $6 billion in 2036. And that's just the US market. Now, if you look at this competitor matrix, it's clear that clocks are graded on both performance and scalability. And incumbent manufacturers cannot meet the performance requirements of 6G. And the few companies that can are limited in scalability due to their complex design that requires hands-on assembly by PhD-educated technicians. So this is where the opportunity lies for us at Ptarmigan, where we can utilize our IP to leverage Ytterbium to create a simplified and scalable solution, the first of its kind capable of unlocking 6G. Now, we've proven that the science works, and with Hamamatsu's demo component already on the way, the $150,000 from the New Venture Challenge will allow us to build our first working prototype, taking the initial step in unlocking 6G. And we have just the team to do it. Our founders, Benjamin Hunt and Harikesh Ranganath, are world-leading clock experts with years of experience at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and NIST, where they currently work on the clock that you use every day without even realizing it each time you open up your phone to check the time. We're joined by Dan Miltenberger, a product design engineer, myself, Gabriel Hedelman, a business development manager, and our mentor, Howard Gerwin, who is an expert in high-volume manufacturing across industry with experience at both Ford and John Deere. We're Ptarmigan Clockworks, and we look forward to unlocking 6G with you. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead and put in your... so I'm wondering... Is my mom going to have to give up her flip phone because this is too... Yeah, I think so. So yes, feedback. I'm sorry? No, that's their... Hang on, we'll get back to that QR code. There you go. That's it. Good? All right. All right, before we move on to the next one, in the original Top Gun, Maverick's co-pilot's name is what? Goose. Well done, well done. You guys gotta be fast with the hands, right? All right, next one is, dun, 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 Aspect.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Jace for Aspect. So mechanical engineers, when they do their work, they're using 3D modeling software called CAD, computer-aided design, and industry standard ones like AutoCAD and SolidWorks are their primary tools. They do 3D modeling in this CAD software, but to get their designs actually created in real life, they have to make these 2D blueprints called technical drawings that measure all of the relevant pieces, aspects of the model, and send to the machine shop or the construction site so that whoever is building it knows exactly the dimensions and diameters of holes and things like that. It turns out that engineers spend 40% of their time making these technical drawings that they could spend on more modeling or other cognitive tasks. And from our empathy interviews, we learned that engineers have 3 extremely important opinions on this. First, they want to stay in their current software. They're all super familiar with SolidWorks or AutoCAD as the largest market share. They don't want to move to an entire new software platform. Second, most importantly, they want to stay in control of their designs. They don't want AI or anything to actually take over the designing of their models. And lastly, everyone I talk to hates doing these technical drawings. It takes a lot of time, it's tedious, it changes every time that they change the 3D model, and it's not really a value add to what they're actually creating. So the solution is Aspect. It's a plugin for existing CAD software so they can stay on their software, namely Autodesk products. I'll talk more about that, starting with AutoCAD. It leverages AI. This is a form of automation not previously possible before our large language models. And it is more of a technical drawings co-pilot rather than an AI 3D modeling generator. The unique value proposition for the software product Aspect is that the enterprise firms buying it will be reducing opportunity cost for high compensation engineers that could be spending time on more cognitive tasks than documenting in technical drawings, as well as non-recurring engineering costs that will also go down, and the biggest one of those is doing these technical drawings. And lastly, of course, will reduce time to market as they can provide these technical drawings to manufacturers quicker. The market analysis is pretty straightforward. We're looking at $5,000 per seat per year. This is based on how existing 3D modeling CAD software is priced at enterprise level. About 50,000 pro users is reasonable in the first 1 to 3 years because of some market research we did. We found about 160,000 professional CAD developers in the United States do technical drawings, so about a third of this, a little bit less than, seems reasonable to us, which of course results in $250 million attainable market. Our go-to-market strategy is primarily enterprise sales directly to these large engineering firms, as discussed with the dollars per seat per year pricing. But we're also going to do a hybrid B2C model, which in software means you're already distributing the software. You might as well sell limited or freemium licenses to individuals at engineering firms that would be champion to bigger full seat sales at the enterprise. The existing solutions in the market. The way the engineers do this now is in their existing CAD software like AutoCAD. They simply do it by hand. There's automation, but it's extremely poor and based on old-fashioned algorithms that do not understand your model or what you're trying to do with it. Other startups in this space do exist, and they're mostly creating standalone software, and none of their products actually work as far as I can tell. So Aspect's strategic placement and advantage is that it's a plugin for CAD software directly in their software. It uses AI automation as opposed to the no automation, and I myself have 5+ years of software and native AI product experience. So this is Aspect. I'm Jace. Thank you for watching.
All right, put in that feedback. Right now, there are thousands of people at home streaming this, saying, I wish I were there to win this. So the next question is, and make sure you raise your hand, okay, I got to see it, right? The next question is, in the movie, Better Off Dead, John Cusack owes how much money to the paperboy? $2. I want my $2. Yes, well done, well done. All right. All right, next team is WatchPost. Go ahead and download that form. Second download and then take it away.
In 2020, the Holiday Farm fire destroyed 800 homes, it displaced tens of thousands, and it even took a life. The cause of this fire was an electric cooperative utility that failed to preemptively de-energize their power lines. If found liable, they'll pay up to $50 million in damages, and they're not alone. As wildfire risk intensifies, electric cooperatives across the country are increasingly facing legal action. Of the 23 cooperative utilities that we have spoken with directly, 0 have the tools they need to make an informed power shutoff decision. Now, operating without these tools is like operating in the dark. It leads to down lines, endangered customers, and as we can see, unmitigated liability. WatchPost has designed and deployed hardware-software solution that directly addresses this need. We have purpose-built micro-weather stations specifically for utility companies that are mounted to their utility grid at a spatial density that empowers confident decision-making. Data from these stations is fed directly into our software platform, which is fueled by an AI engine referencing past conditions to deliver actionable insights directly to our customers. Now, whether it's a recommendation to adjust their grid settings or to stage crews ahead of severe weather, or even to make a targeted power shutoff decision, WatchPost transforms real-time data into real-time action. And this is action that saves lives. It saves our customers money and reduces liability for our cooperative utilities. We're selling this solution into a $5.7 billion utility asset management market, with our target customer, cooperative utilities, representing a $108 million year-over-year revenue potential. Now, we have already deployed our product to our target customer. 2 cooperative utilities have paid us $4,500 each that commenced 90-day paid pilots starting just this past week. This means that in under 3 months, we've gone from idea to deployed hard tech solution for 2 cooperative utilities. The feedback so far has been resoundingly positive. with customers going out of their way to market our product to other cooperatives within Colorado. Now, why are we targeting cooperative utilities specifically? Well, despite accounting for nearly half of the power lines in the country, they are severely underserved when it comes to weather analysis tools. Not only this, but they have the ability to pay, and they have significantly shorter sales cycles than their investor-owned utility counterparts. Now, speaking of these investor-owned utilities, think Xcel, PG&E, San Diego Gas and Electric, for example, they have realized that regional scale forecasting does not cut it. That's why San Diego, for example, spends $4 million per year. They own and operate 225 weather stations. They pay 12 different companies to touch their weather data, all to make informed decisions. Compare this to Moon Lake, one of our pilots who is double the size of San Diego. They have nothing. When you wake up and you check your phone to decide what to wear in the morning, you are doing the exact same thing that cooperative utilities across the country are doing to make critical operational decisions. Add WatchPost, however, and everything changes. They now have the ability to make data-backed decisions. Utilities today are quite literally piecing together the market. As we saw, San Diego pays 12 different vendors to touch their data, just to try to get the same value that WatchPost provides as a one-stop shop. We are the only company on the market offering a comprehensive weather risk analysis solution. We are pricing with our tiered pricing structure. This solution costs $112,000 ACV, and if we assume that we are going to be targeting just 20% of just cooperative utilities by our 5th year in business, we'll be bringing in north of $21 million in annual recurring revenue. To do so, we will be continuing our paid pilot programs, initiating statewide service agreements, as well as strategic utility insurance partnerships. Now, zooming into the past 3 months, where we've gone from idea to $9,000 in revenue with a hard tech solution deployed at 2 businesses. To do so, we raised $18,000 of non-dilutive funding, as well as $11,000 out of our own pockets. The team that has executed on this venture, Joshua Bridge and myself, bring 5 years in delivering physical products to market at 4 different hard tech startups. We're joined by Blake Faulkner with education from UChicago, experience in software engineering at the Chicago Blackhawks, as well as Kate Rooney with 8 years of lived experience in the utility industry. We're joined by 2 very talented advisors with decades of experience in their respective verticals, the utility and the wildfire tech markets. Now, with New Venture Challenge investment, we will transform La Plata Electric Association's grid from this into this. A transformation safeguarding Colorado communities from wildfire and extreme weather risk, and a transformation instantly unlocking $175,000 in ARR for WatchPost, and this conversation is already in place with La Plata. We are WatchPost. Thank you.
All right, feedback, please. But I gotta say, Josh Wilkin, that is a legit mustache. I mean, with an advisor like that, yeah, gotta win. All right. So feedback. How we doing? We're good? Excellent. Okay. So, for the younger crowd, we'll go to a movie in the 90s. In the movie Sandlot, what was the name of the beast? Oh, come on. Oh, yeah? Oh, you just... Yeah, I know, because this is a limited edition. Only one of these was made. So this is a very special hat. Come on, really? No one? Never heard of You're killing me, Smalls. The beast, it was, no. Hercules, yes, yes. Hey, way to go. Limited edition. All right. Okay, next. Hercules. We have Pantile. All right.
Ready to ride? All right. Hello, everyone. My name is David. I'm the founder and CEO of Pantile Investments. And in a sentence, we're an AI-native wealth management company, and we're building the wealth management platform for the next generation of investors. And we're located right on Pearl Street in Boulder, Colorado. So it's great to be here. The problem we're solving is actually quite simple. Wealth management, the service model in wealth management is extremely outdated. The picture here is basically how it goes, right? So we have a wealth manager, we do home visits, we print things out, they're like 80 pages long, nobody ever reads them. And it's not a very kind of scalable solution when it comes to a generational shift of how new people are really, new wealth generators are really starting to think about their money. Really what they want is just more seamless access to their wealth, like be able to log in whenever they want, be able to see things on a single page, be able to chat with advisors in a much more kind of digital native way, not scheduling phone calls for next week or, oh yeah, let me send that form over and 8 days later it gets to your email inbox, which you eventually lose anyway. We just want to have all this stuff kind of right in one place. In fact, 80% of investors under 40 have tried AI for wealth management. It just stinks. It's not very good. 50% of that 80%, by the way, said it was a giant mistake. And the reason being is that, while Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini, super powerful LLMs, being able to issue financial advice or wealth management advice, you need more context. You need more kind of calculation of how things actually work in investments, and obviously LLMs are not too great at that. And because of this, 80% of clients, when they get an inheritance from a parent or family member, 80% of them leave their advisor because the service model that exists today really isn't satisfying what they're looking for. So they open up Robinhood accounts or Schwab accounts or something like that. And these numbers are massive. In the next 10 years, $50 trillion is going to move from one generation to the next. And right now there are 2,500 advisors who are single principal, meaning it's just a single financial advisor like I showed on the screen. Maybe they manage $100 million, something like that, which seems like a lot, but maybe it's $101 million families. They're actually retiring in the next 10 years. So all that wealth in terms of what they're managing basically has to go somewhere. And 72% of investors under 40 said we want better tools. We want to use AI. We want to be able to log in. We want to be able to have real-time access to our wealth so we can understand it. So we built it. At Pantile, we manage the wealth for our clients. We are a registered, SEC registered investment advisor. The difference, though, is we want to make wealth more accessible. So the first thing that we did was, as we manage your wealth, we pipe it into a single dashboard. Just know how much money you have. Even simple things like performance. We interviewed a lot of people and they said, my 401k is the most important thing to me. Spent my entire life building it up. I always take advantage of the match. And we'd always say, great, how's it doing? They're like, I don't know. So is it beating the market or not? And they're like, I don't know. And then we'd log into Fidelity and LPL and Schwab, and I can't blame the clients at all because those platforms weren't really clear on how well their accounts were doing. So we designed it such that it's really easy to understand how much wealth you have, how it's doing, what the risk profiles are, and whatnot. Then I mentioned the AI problem before. So I'm getting my computer science PhD at CU Boulder, specifically in AI research, specifically in deep learning algorithms when it comes to finance. And as I was building, kind of my own research portfolio, I was thinking like it'd be great to have technology that's in AI that's specific to wealth management. Because that way, if you're a client, you could just log in and say things like, hey, like what would the taxes be if I early withdraw to my IRA? Well, we can tell you, right? But what's really important here is that we can't give advice. We can give insight through AI, we can't give advice. So because of that, we're not getting rid of advisors at all. What we're getting rid of is the 80% of questions that come to advisors that really could be answered with a scalable AI native technology. But if you want to talk to an advisor, talk to Marcos. Right? He's our lead advisor, and he can help you in this digital native way understand your wealth and make better decisions. And I think that's really what we're doing here. So the model works. In the past year or so, we have 30 client accounts. We have about 2 million under management. Going back about 5 years, for me as a wealth manager, 11% net returns. No client has ever left, which I'm really proud of. And we have about 120 leads in the pipeline that we're working through. Real quick, how do we do this? It seems like a magic kind of black box. Basically what we say is everybody on the team has a lot of experience. We're really kind of we deeply understand technology like AI native technologies, and that delivers better outcomes. So simply put, we make advisors more effective. We create custom tooling that allows advisors to give better wealth management solutions to their clients. We run more effective portfolios. As a former hedge fund manager myself, I've built a ton of tooling specific to how we trade markets. Not only does this help us actually, like I said, manage the accounts better for clients, but we actually give clients direct access to it. We want them to understand how markets actually operate, how portfolios operate, so they can become better wealth generators themselves. And the proof is basically in the feedback that we get. So this is a text I got from a client where he had a bunch of, tax problems, we'll call it. We were able to work it out with him, and he went from owing federal to saving on federal, which is really important in our generation. Like everything we can do to really optimize our wealth is really important. Like I said, we have about 120 clients in the pipeline now. Actually, this number is closer to 150 now. But 150, plus clients in the pipeline, about 30 moving through that pipeline, and it's about $600 for a CAC value. Because wealth management clients are pretty sticky, they'll stick around for about 20 years if you treat them appropriately, our LTV to CAC number is really high, at about 250x, even at the lowest account size. Quickly, how we're scaling this business. Remember I mentioned the 2,500 retiring advisors? We're actually purchasing them. So we're giving them a soft off-ramp where they want to go play golf more. They've worked hard 30 years in their career to build these client families, and the clients that they have, they trust, they want to work with them and make sure they're taken care of. So we're basically enabling an off-ramp for them. We get to buy them pretty inexpensively. We integrate the advisors in. They can stay on for basically as long as they want, 1, 2, 3 years. That way the transition for the clients are smooth. And in doing so, at the end of this year, we're targeting about 100 million in AUM, which is about 1.5 million of ARR. And by the end of next year, mostly through those acquisitions, but also our organic channels, we're aiming for about $1 billion in AUM, which is 10 acquisitions of $100 million books. And that will yield about 15 million ARR. Just quickly on competitors, there are a few. It's a really hard problem, as you can imagine, mostly due to compliance and regulation. You can't cloud code a wealth management company. But there are a few out there. Cerity Partners in town, great, aggregators of RIAs. Unfortunately, they can't retain the clients, though, because they have the old model that I mentioned before. Range, for example, and Tiffin in town is kind of in this category a bit too. Really amazing on the AI native side of things, but some of them either don't run capital at all, they're just tools, or they're not really thinking about how to scale that book. They're just working organically. We're the ones that can do both. So my name is David. Like I said, CU Boulder, current student. Got David and Vamsey in the front row here. I don't know if you can see him. I don't think you can. And Marcos is our lead advisor in Illinois. Also have some fractional folks. And Techstars is not only an investor, not only a partner, but they're actually a customer as we're working on technology for them that will yield 6-figure revenue starting next year. So like I said, in short, large market work in GTM that we're checking through and is working. People are paying for it. We're SEC registered, so there's a lot of compliance, and that's kind of the moat. We have a compounding cash flywheel, a super experienced team, and now we're raising a $5 million seed round to basically start to make the offers on these advisors that we've been speaking to. So that's about it. My name is David. We are Pantile, and we make wealth easier.
Music, please. All right. We about done? I mean, one of our favorite, the socks, right? I mean, they look good, they fit everyone. So, going back to the 80s. In the movie, Axel Foley was a police officer from what city? Yep, Detroit, absolutely. Well done. All right, if you find a banana in your exhaust pipe, you know who did it. All right, so next we have Arcana. Big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jack Google, co-founder and CEO of Arcana Therapeutics, where we're looking deep into nature to discover new medicines to treat obesity. Obesity is a global public health crisis that affects over 1 billion people worldwide and is a leading cause of comorbidities such as diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. For decades, scientists have been searching for effective medicines to help patients with obesity lose weight. In the last few years, we've reached a major inflection point with the widespread adoption of GLP-1 drugs, such as Ozempic, for weight loss. These drugs have had a massive impact on our society. For the first time in decades, obesity rates are on their way down instead of up. Junk food companies are in trouble because their consumers are increasingly pivoting to healthier alternatives and decreasing their junk food consumption. Airlines are literally predicting that they're going to save money on fuel because their passengers are losing so much weight. But there's a major issue. 50% of patients who take GLP-1 to lose weight can't stay on the medication for more than the first 12 months. The reason for this is that these drugs can cause a wide variety of GI side effects that cause patients to discontinue. This highlights a massive need for new medications with improved tolerability. At Arkana, our goal is to develop those medications and to provide them to patients. Now I'm going to share with you how we do that. Since the beginning of time, nature has been a leading source of inspiration for the discovery of new medicines. In fact, the original GLP-1 drug was discovered in a Gila monster, which is a lizard that can go for months at a time without eating. Our thesis at Arkana is that for any human health challenge that you're trying to solve, there's already an animal that has evolved a solution that you can learn from. In our quest for the next generation of obesity therapeutics, we turn to the Burmese python as a model organism. Pythons have the most extreme eating behavior in the animal kingdom. They can eat meals that are up to their own body weight and size, and then they can go for months at a time, up to a year between meals. In studying the biology of how pythons regulate their appetite and their metabolism, we've discovered the scientific basis for 2 new therapeutic programs. In order to lose weight, you have to do one of 2 things. You either have to eat less calories or you have to burn more calories. At Arkana, our pipeline addresses both sides of this weight loss equation. ARC-100 is a small molecule, orally available appetite suppressant that we discovered in pythons. We've done preclinical studies in obese mice where we show that we can decrease their appetite by up to 50% and that they lose 10% of their body weight over the course of 30 days of treatment. And ARC-100 is significantly differentiated from GLP-1 by its unique mechanism of action that works specifically to reduce appetite in the hunger regulation area of the brain without affecting the gastrointestinal system where all these GLP-1 side effects are caused. On the other side of this equation, we have ARC-200 that's pursuing a novel target for increasing energy expenditure in skeletal muscle. ARC-200 has massive first-in-class potential for both use as a standalone weight loss therapeutic, but also in combination with appetite suppressants like ARC-100 and GLP-1. Since launching Arkana 6 months ago, we've achieved significant progress across a variety of fronts. We've secured close to $200,000 in funding through CU Boulder and the state of Colorado. We filed a patent to protect ARC-100 and are in the process of licensing this IP in from the university. And we published the scientific description of ARC-100 in Nature Metabolism, which is a leading journal in this field that we're in for weight loss. The next step at Arkana is for us to raise a $750,000 pre-seed round on safe notes in order to do a few critical de-risking preclinical experiments before going on to raise a larger price round that'll help us take our assets into the clinic. In order to execute on this vision, we've assembled a world-class team that has proven leaders in business, drug development, and academic science. Across their previous ventures, our team members have created more than $16 billion in exit value. Each and every one of us is extremely excited for our newest challenge, which is to create better medicines for the 1 billion people that live with obesity. I'll leave you with this quote from Einstein that perfectly describes what we do at Arkana. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Thank you.
All right, get that feedback in.
Could you take it back one slide?
But that's not the QR code for the, do you need the QR code for, I can go back. Oh, bam. Moses, you're the man. This feedback is really, really valuable for these teams. They're all super nervous about next Wednesday. If you're all done with your feedback, then you can use that QR code to get to vote on which team gets the money. And then I have one more trivia question with another limited edition prize. Only one was made. Your vote's already in, locked. Good to go. Nice job. Bossa Nova. Are you serious? But it worked for you. It worked for you. Try, yeah, maybe do a refresh. Yeah. Yeah, okay, good. Whew, man, you guys are freaking me out. You did that on purpose. You're like, oh no, this totally works, but I'm gonna make them sweat. I need the stress thing. Give me the stress stuff. I'm telling you. What? Help. All right, I'll come in a second. So I gotta do the trivia question, all right? So arguably, best 80s movie, in my opinion. Dumb and Dumber. Okay, so this quote was from what movie? Life moves pretty fast. Ferris Bueller. Yes, absolutely. Well done. Well done. All right. So we are going to call up Lorikeet to say a few words before we jump into the documentary. Come on up. And then you can hit the button. Make it go.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris Good. I am the co-founder of Lorikeet Creative alongside Madeline Lane, who's sitting in the third row over there. And we are excited to share with you our documentary film about the New Venture Challenge. Now, this all came about when we met Stan at Boulder Startup Week in 2024. We were sponsoring Boulder Startup Week, and through that we got to talking with Stan about innovation and entrepreneurship and all of the amazing things going on at CU Boulder. And then, yeah, so we produced some promo videos for the program and some events, including the Sustainability Hackathon, and really that was how we first became exposed to the competition format of the NVC. And, you know, the deeper we got into this whole process and the ecosystem, the more we realized that there was a great story here to tell. So we produced this documentary and we interviewed contestants, mentors, people associated with the program. And yeah, we really just wanted to paint a picture of all of the wonderful things that are available for entrepreneurs and startups within the CU Boulder ecosystem. So yeah, with that, I won't take up too much of your time. Sit back, enjoy the film, and if there's any questions or anything, we're happy to answer them at the end. So thank you.
Hopeful to just go out and do my best. I think that's the most important thing.
Definitely a little nervous, but it's good nervous energy.
Welcome to the 18th New Venture Challenge.
It is truly one of my favorite nights of the year because it truly is the celebration of what we have here in Boulder.
There is so much entrepreneurial activity happening on the campus. We cannot contain it into just one prize category. So that means that this year, for the first time ever, we are gonna have 2 prize categories, and that means we've doubled the money. First up, we're gonna have the Deep Tech track. These are our faculty, our grad students, our postdocs, and their CEOs. They've been cooking it up in the labs. Next, We've got the Open Track. This is what you have come to know and love at NBC. It is our best current students and their ventures. Altogether, that's 6 companies, over $300,000 on the line.
The New Venture Challenge is open to the entire CU Boulder ecosystem. We'll have over 100 companies that will go through the process of ideating, building a company, and then pitching that company. And those skills are skills that will help them once they graduate from the university.
Everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. The skills of entrepreneurial thinking and problem solving are indispensable to success in the 21st century.
Well, look, students and young people are innovators, and they're ready to disrupt industries and create the next great American company. So it's really exciting to see how we can help give young people the tools, the mentorship, and support they need to be able to bring their ideas into reality.
I just want to start by congratulating all of our finalists and wish them good luck. Just making it to the finals is an incredible achievement. Let's hear it for our finalists now.
Our winners are...
So tonight, we're going to do 60-second pitches. 60 seconds, that's it. And it's not to win the NBC. This is just so the mentors in the room can go, oh, you're CPG? Great, I'm going to talk with you later. But a couple things to keep in mind for your pitch. Make sure you explain what the problem is. Make sure you explain what your solution is. And then if you're looking for something specific from a mentor, just throw that out there.
I'm a junior majoring in biochemistry.
I am currently a senior at the Leeds School of Business.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Corrales Gascon. We are from Computer Science Engineering at CU Boulder.
Problem solving is simple. Plastic waste from grocery stores.
Phantom energy waste produces around 80 million tons of carbon emissions every year.
An ophthalmologist friend of mine came up to me and said he has a lot of patients that take multiple eye drops a day, but they're blind, so they have a lot of trouble identifying their bottle and knowing how many drops to take.
My product is a very small and simple silicone ring that fits around eye drop bottles and indicates the number of drops that the patient is supposed to instill in their eye.
Measures AI is a sales intelligence platform that tells you what you need to know about your sales pipeline without any manual input.
Veristate is the first AI-powered, fully digital title insurance underwriting platform.
We are Odin Autonomy. We're training drones from tools to teammates for first responders.
One of the things that I really loved watching would be interdisciplinary teams. Entrepreneurship is an interdisciplinary activity. Great teams require diversity of talents, perspectives, and people. We don't want this to be only in the law school or in the business school or engineering school. It's got to be a whole campus commitment.
I'm participating in the New Venture Challenge in order to advance our project on battery disassembly to address the recycling problem of electric vehicles.
The main components of the electric vehicle is the battery, and so these batteries are filled with precious materials like lithium, cobalt, magnesium.
And all of this can usually be extracted up to 99% from these batteries, so it would be really silly to keep mining for it if it can be obtained much easier from the existing stock.
These batteries are usually around 400 to 800 volts, which is more than enough to harm a person. And so by taking people out of danger and putting robots in the disassembly process, we can make it a safer, more cost-effective process for everyone.
One of the things that I've seen for every team that does well in the NVC is that they really believe in the product that they're pitching. Not just a passion for whatever the thing is that they're sharing, but this kind of belief down in their guts that this thing matters and that they're going to do this thing and it's going to be successful.
So I'm on the team of GoodWatt. We're trying to develop a smart plug that is also sustainable, so it avoids the drawing power from the wall, which is known as phantom energy.
It all started during the Sustainability Hackathon back in 2024.
7 of us came together and we decided to tackle phantom energy specifically after Zahir actually brought up that problem.
Phantom energy drain, it's a big thing. It's about like 10% of your energy bill every month, and that's a lot of emissions that come out of it too. We're just trying to tackle that issue by making smart plugs that help people manage that better.
After winning the Sustainability Hackathon, Stan Hickory and Matt Brady really wanted to push us forward to compete in something like this.
NBC really has allowed us to all come together and take an idea that we're all passionate about making a change, passionate about actually seeing this in the real world, and then providing us with the resources to actually make it happen.
I think to be successful in the New Venture Challenge, you have to really think through your company and your idea from all different angles, because you never know what the judges are going to ask or what they're going to look at. You have to figure out what you're going to pitch, and you have to figure out how to build a business and what the answers to the questions are. And really that takes understanding all elements of a startup business to be able to do that.
Pitching is a first impression.
First, you really want to understand the problem before you create a solution.
If you have a good idea and you can prove that people want it, or businesses want it, or somebody wants this, the funding's the easy part.
Sometimes you only have 30 seconds to make that impression on somebody, a potential funder, somebody who might be a partner one day.
The other thing is, you have to believe what you're doing. If you come up here and you're bored with the subject matter, why the hell else would anyone listen? You have to bring it. And the number one thing to do to get success in pitching is to practice. And I'm talking about not 5 times, 50 times.
Colorado's brand is as a tech leader and as an innovator. And one of the premises of our ecosystem is we're all in it together. We try to support one another, mentor one another. The New Venture Challenge is a great example of that ecosystem at work. We have students who are getting mentoring from leaders in the community, who are being supported, encouraged, and inspired by entrepreneurial leaders.
I feel very passionately about helping students learn how to build startups.
We believe that there's so many early stage entrepreneurs on campus that they don't know what they don't know. And so it's our job to show them the possibilities of what venture funding, of what a big business can look like.
How does it work to raise money for your startups?
How safes work, how financings work, what are the questions you should be asking?
When you are a first-time founder, it's unbelievably important to have direction, because you get to avoid a bunch of the mistakes that you would make that take years to actually figure out. The advisory support is there for you to have direction while you're going through this entire phase of building your first company.
Building the ask, pitching, negotiating term sheets, what their function is, drafting legal documents, closing a financing.
The biggest part about this is that I'm able to surround myself with people that have like-minded, ideas, but maybe are 25 years ahead of me and can teach me. I always joke around with my investors. It's like, how can you tell me not to make the $50,000 mistake before I make it?
It's hard to go out and build something if you've never seen that pattern before. If it doesn't work, they're now more equipped to go join another company and try again.
When I was starting as an entrepreneur, we didn't have any kind of this support structure that exists today. It's wonderful that there's formalized support structures, competitions, opportunities to pitch, align with funders networks, and I think it has a lot of room to grow.
So we're midway through the NVC, and so at this point we have acquired the robot and we've started working on getting programs to run on the robot. We've also acquired the battery, so we have all of our main components now.
There's weeks of work that then culminate in these milestones. Now, what the next milestone is going to be is the 5-minute pitch in front of a live audience.
Today we're going to tell you about a novel platform for drug discovery that we believe can have applications across a wide range of potential diseases.
They're looking for a good idea that has a big market, and they're looking for a team that has a unique product that can be differentiated, and they're looking for a founding team that shows enthusiasm and excitement about building out their idea.
I'm Nicholas Corral. I'm a professor here in computer science. My lab is just over there. And I'm working in the battery recycling space.
The pitch practice session is very interesting because it forces you to actually articulate the value proposition. And it is about doing this in 5 minutes.
Battery materials are highly valuable. They are shredded usually, that's called black mass. And the black mass market is $50 billion by 2022.
What I ended up doing is doing it actually much faster by really only focusing on the value proposition.
Our solution is to use humanoid robots using very simple tools and really integrate into the existing processes, essentially making the human operation more scalable.
You need to really frame that problem for us.
Why is the robot the right solution compared to like a person or what they're currently doing?
This is the problem that they're facing. They can't dismantle these things fast enough. There's not enough humans that can do this. But I can do this in a safer, more cost-effective way that saves them money and gets me a lot of money, right? Boom, here you go.
And so I realized I have to add much more detail use these 5 minutes much more wholly to convey that kind of information. And it was an interesting experience to see what are the most pressing things that they would ask.
What we know today as the NVC is unrecognizable from where it started. When this was an idea that Brad Bernthal and I talked about with a few others, we had no conception of what it could become. But because this community and because CU believes in New Venture Challenge, has invested in it, it's now become a crown jewel for the whole campus.
We are united by a singular goal: to cultivate the next generation of creative, courageous, tenacious entrepreneurial leaders. All of this momentum comes together and is made possible by the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Initiative.
Innovation Entrepreneurship Initiative is an overarching program that we have here at CU Boulder, and it incorporates more than just the New Venture Challenge. We have everything from maker spaces to a mentorship program to workshops. We have sustainability hackathons, we have idea builders, we have the Women Founders Competition. Really, it's this opportunity for students, faculty, and staff who have ideas to take them from that idea all the way to launch.
We can do all of the work under the sun to prepare these students with amazing business ideas, but unless they have a way to launch them into the world, it's for naught. The NVC is that gateway to the big world, and for them to get the funding they need to launch.
I don't care what line of work you may go into, we need every student to develop those skills, and having a campus committed to it makes CU really a first-rate and incredible opportunity for every student.
We are so excited right now. We are about to start our semifinal round for the New Venture Challenge. Out of 100 teams, we have 8 in the deep tech category and 12 in the open category, pitching today to find out who's going to be at the Boulder Theater for their share of $325,000.
Getting to round 2 was awesome because I think it was pretty selective, but now it's like everyone who's in the competition is like really good.
I'm feeling good. I've practiced this pitch a fair amount, so I'm hoping that it comes out the same way I've practiced it the last 100 or so times.
Excited. I think we all know our stuff. We've been putting a lot of hard work into it, so ready to adapt and ready for whatever they throw our way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got a lot of valuable feedback in the first round, and so now I've implemented that feedback, and yeah, I'm just hoping the judges are as excited about the project as I am.
Students will check in at this table, and then they'll go to the room, and they've got 5 minutes to pitch their business to our panel of judges. Then they go into an excruciating 10 minutes of Q&A, so the judges can really dig into those companies. They've got to decide who's going to the finals on April 23rd.
So we just finished the semifinal pitch for NVC, and it was awesome. Our pitch was substantially better. I think the judges understood what we were doing a lot better.
We're feeling great. We're feeling like we really knew what we were talking about. We were able to confidently and accurately answer all the judges' questions.
They had a lot of great questions, a lot of questions about unit economics and how it will actually look in deployment.
It wasn't just like canned questions. They were really targeting it to our company, technology, market opportunities, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we had to change a lot. We had a pretty big weekend and had some really exciting news that we went a little bit viral.
Well,
I launched my business yesterday.
You what?
I launched my business yesterday.
Launch your business? What business is that?
It's boring. It's title insurance, but we're pitching for $200,000 in a couple weeks.
You pitching for $200,000. You doing the whole presentation?
Yep.
You want to practice in front of your team? Don't just stand in one spot. Work the room. Pick out 3 guys in the room and make eye contact with them and work the room.
All right. So for decades, 5 companies have quietly controlled the $20 billion title insurance industry.
Ended up getting put all over, ESPN and Twitter and everything, and just because of, partially this competition, and because of CU football, and then, managed to have a lot of interest from VCs, potential partners, everything. So changed a bit, threw it in the new pitch, and I think it went really, really well. The next step is waiting for that email tonight, hoping that we make it to the finals, because we all want to be up on stage on the 23rd, and I think that's what we're most looking forward to, is being able to show this idea to all of Boulder.
The entrepreneurial ecosystem here at CU is taking off.
Last year, CU had 35 spinouts. That is the second most spinouts to ever spin out of any university in a single year. More people are flooding into CU to start to look at these early stage startups, and we are starting to see the venture capital community respond.
They want to know what's happening here on our campus because we are turning out truly investable companies. That's why we're happy to partner with D4 and the 14 Founders Fund this year who will be writing the checks as investments for some of our best companies.
We've been investing in Colorado now for more than a decade. Some amazing companies, incredible entrepreneurs that we've been able to back. So many of those entrepreneurs went to school here, studied here, grew up here. And so to think that you could, invest in Colorado without investing in CU just feels like an oxymoron. They are one and the same in my mind.
At CU, they have the entrepreneurship program that they have built to really support the building of these startups. And access to capital is the last component, and that's why we're here.
We have the proof. We can see it in our own returns. We're excited to deploy capital into these companies. And any other investor that's looking for great opportunities to deploy capital should come and invest with us.
I could not be more excited to be kicking off the 2025 New Venture Challenge.
NVC 18 is the biggest, it is the best attended, and it has the most funding of any NVC ever.
Even before I arrived on campus, I heard all about the New Venture Challenge, its incredible success in developing our next generation of bold entrepreneurs. Nearly 200 students participated in our annual Sustainability Hackathon, a hands-on innovation sprint tackling real-world environmental challenges. And in its second year, the high school New Venture Challenge awarded $25,000 in scholarships to outstanding Colorado high school students.
This past year, we had over 86 teams compete in the High School New Venture Challenge for scholarships to come here and CU Boulder and learn even more about entrepreneurship.
This program is designed specifically to empower high school students and ignite their innovative spirit.
Tonight, you will get to hear live the winning pitch.
Where fears disappear, we are Monster Be Gone.
It's been so stressful, but it's been so great. You get to meet so many new, interesting groups, and all the people that we've met are so kind, so caring, so supportive.
It's, you can never start too early, and it's great to see high schoolers, put it on their thinking caps, but to have a formalized way that high schoolers can participate in the New Venture Challenge is really exciting.
Now in its fifth year, the Women Founder Competition drew 31 women-founded ventures, awarding $20,000 to support and accelerate their entrepreneurial enterprises. Over the last 2 decades, NVC has supported more than 1,200 ventures and awarded over $1.75 million. So this year will put us well over the $2 million mark.
Give it up for the judges, y'all.
And these are our deep tech judges. So we are excited for them to listen to the teams that are getting ready to pitch. And now, first up, we have Ghost Code.
Ghost is a software application that runs on your smartphone, and it hides your identity and obscures your activities from the network. I hope people are excited by the project. I think it's very cool, and I think it's something important.
Why do people buy from you? It's a simple question, but it's one that's actually hard to answer.
We're feeling fantastic. We have a really polished pitch that we've worked very hard on, a really polished demo, and we're ready for almost any question the judges will throw at us.
We're Measures AI, and if you want to check out our product, there's some QR codes in the audience where you can scan it and see a live demo right now.
I am hopeful to just go out and do my best. I think that's the most important thing.
Raise your hand if you've ever lost GPS or had highly inaccurate GPS. Lost or inaccurate GPS is an inconvenience in our day-to-day lives, but there are applications for which the consequences are far more dire than, say, being late to a meeting. Autonomous vehicles depend on all their onboard sensors, including GPS, to operate optimally to avoid collisions and fatalities. The military relies on GPS in active combat scenarios. In all these applications, lost or inaccurate GPS can cost, no exaggeration, billions of dollars in human lives.
Feeling good, really looking forward to it. Of course, a little nervous, but yeah, still very excited as well.
At NIST, we've developed the most efficient quantum interconnects, enabling data center scale quantum computers.
I'm feeling confident, prepared, definitely a little nervous, but it's good nervous energy that I'm excited to unleash upon the stage.
We found that small drones like these offer unprecedented ways of gathering intelligence, improving our coordination, and enabling faster action, which can sometimes be the difference between life and death. And as a first responder myself, whether we're fighting a fire, looking for a missing person, raiding a drug den, or looking for an active shooter, my team will be there,
We're Veristate, and we're creating the first fully digital, AI-powered title insurance underwriting platform that slashes closing times, eliminates unnecessary fees, and delivers a policy in as few as 24 hours, all with incredible customer service.
We're also supported by a great team of mentors who together have decades of experience building and scaling companies, and who are excited to revolutionize the title industry with us. Legacy Title didn't die because of us. It flatlined the moment it refused to evolve with the industry. Tonight, we're just here to give it the send-off it deserves.
Now, one of the moments we've all been waiting for, our Deep Tech winners, Precision Terra.
I think this has given me a real kind of confidence boost, and I completely changed how I was pitching, presenting my technology, and it just feels like it's resonating with people, and that's exciting.
And our winners are
Whatever happens from here, we're ready for it, and the only reason that we're ready for it is because we've been preparing for NVC for the last semester.
The power of the entrepreneurial mindset is huge. Now, whether you're starting a business or not, it doesn't really matter, because that ability to think creatively, to build solutions, really is a game changer in life.
Starting that company, taking that leap, is really exciting, and it'll take you far in life. No matter whether that particular venture succeeds or not, the skills you get are going to be incredibly important, and some of them are going to work out very well.
When you have empathy as a way to understand your customer experience, when you have iterative problem solving, continuing to improve on what you're doing, when you have the ability to work functionally in a team, you have valuable 21st century skills.
It's more just about the connections and the learning that's gone on, and that's what we're really taking away. The money is just a cherry on top.
We're hopeful that we can learn from our mistakes within NVC and what we can improve on to kind of tighten up our business model, tighten up aspects of GoodWatt.
I think NVC is great regardless. The experience of public speaking, the experience in building a business, the experience in front of judges, answering questions real time. Those are all valuable skills to have, even if you don't ultimately get the investment at the end.
Stop aspiring and just be an entrepreneur. You don't need permission from anyone.
You know, if you have a great idea, don't just set it aside. Really work on developing it. Whether it comes to fruition or not, whether it wins a competition, gets funded or not, it's a great experience to go through to really learn how to make sure that your ideas don't just stay on paper, that they turn into something tangible, and you never know. It might be a great idea that makes you very successful in life.
Nice job, guys. That really is awesome. You know, there's just a couple things I want to point out. The first is just how much work goes into getting on stage at the finals. I mean, they've been working all year, sometimes more than a year. And then the other piece is truly highlighting that town to gown relationship. You know, we have over 400 mentors that are on our platform this year. To go from the first round of judging to the finals, there were 150 community members that were judges. So it's a shared effort between the ecosystem within the campus and also the startup ecosystem here in Boulder, because it's really built around that Give First ethos. So thank you for coming. Thank you for the feedback. The winner is Ptarmigan. Guys, have a great night.